Hey there, I wanted to talk to you this morning about how us ADHDers are very much living in the moment and often cannot move on to the next task and that sort of thing, how we procrastinate, etc. So I have been putting off doing some paperwork for my daughter Vicky. I don't mind doing paperwork, but I seem to need it to be urgent before I'll go and deal with it. So before it got ridiculously urgent, before it got to the point where it was all going to go horribly wrong, I made a commitment that today, this morning, up until 12 o'clock, I'm just going to do my daughter's paperwork for her, because I must. But that has negative consequence in that it's very, very difficult for me to actually then think about what else I might need to do. So I had to do the school run this morning, and while I was out on the school run I needed to get some milk and I needed to get some diesel for my car, and I had to make myself do those things because actually I'd got myself into a zone where I'm just thinking about Vicky's paperwork, and I know that if I come out of that zone to go and get some milk or get some diesel or even make this video, there's a risk I won't go back to the original task. So as a way of coping and a way of trying to make sure I don't have that temptation and that doesn't happen and I don't procrastinate yet again, I get myself into a zone and I stay there. So it's like a hyper focus. It's like all I want to think about is that. Life's not really like that. I am an adult, I have things I have to do, and if there's no milk in the house, well, obviously that's a problem. If there's no diesel in the car, I actually won't get to do the paperwork because it involves me going to the local council with my daughter. If I don't get the diesel, I'm not going to be going, but yeah, that's the sort of temptation, and that's why sometimes it's hard for us to switch from one task to another. If something is urgent and important and we've finally got ourselves into that zone, the worst thing you can do to us is make us break it. So if you think about that in terms of your children, and you've told them to tidy up and they're finally doing it, they're finally in their bedrooms and they're finally doing it, saying hurry up, saying you've got to come and do this now, you're going to break that cycle, and you probably really shouldn't. You might want to put a time limit on it, and if you really have to break it, you have to recognise that actually you're causing some distress. In the classroom, very similarly, actually the rigid structure of timetabling that is necessary in schools, I know some schools, Montessori schools etc, are more able to be more relaxed about it, but when you've got an ADHD and they're finally on task, you do realise you often break that, don't you, to fulfil a timetable. That's not necessarily the best thing for that child if they finally got themselves into that zone, because when they finally get themselves into that zone, they do not want to move from it. They actually want to finish it. They're actively engaged, and if you can utilise that and allow them to continue, then please do. Obviously you can't always, but I wanted to share that with you. It is very much, we are in the moment. We get to the point where we recognise it has to be done, or we want to do it, and if you break in that, it's not easy for us to walk away from. Have a good day everyone, speak to you later, bye.